Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I'm here today to do another Casing Tuesday card for you. If you're not familiar with this group, this is a day on Tuesday where on our Facebook group we post a card that you can give a makeover to. And this is just a great way to help your stamping, whether you are a beginner or whether you are someone that's been around for a while like myself. And we use this as a way to like challenge ourselves, try a different layout. Each week we have a different card, and that specific card is the card that we copy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. So today's card, I really like the layout. It gives you like a really big space to work with. And so let's have a look at the card for today. Here it is. And I love the stamp set, but I don't have it. So that's probably going to be like most of you. You don't know what card we're going to pick each week. So you're going to look at it and go, well, maybe I don't have that stamp set. And so, or maybe I don't want to use that stamp set. I want to make something different. And this card is beautiful, but let's see what else we can do with it. So what we do is we break it down and we create a sketch for it. So this kind of just gives you an idea of the sizes for each of the layers and how they come together. So you can see this is a very simple sketch when it's all broken down. And if we go back to, let me close this out. If we go back to the card itself, you can see it's got a lot more to it than just the sketch. So I am going to show you what I did. I worked with the Poinsettia Petals bundle, and it's one that I just got recently, so I haven't had a chance to use it yet. And I played around with it to see what different ways I could use it, and then I kind of just came up with kind of a probably what you could call a standard way to stamp and color a stamp set. But poinsettias are just really beautiful, and this stamp set is just gorgeous. It's got so many different ways to use it. The poinsettia I'm going to use today is one that is already put together, but this one also has one where you can layer up, cut, like stamp, cut, and layer up all the different parts of the poinsettia so you can get a really pretty flower with lots of depth. Good morning, everyone. All right, let me pop over to my area, my stamp area. And here is my card. And I just stamped and colored the poinsettias. And if you remember the original card, it had a tree. So I kind of tried to follow the layout. The tree, you know, of course has a trunk and then it grows up like that. And so I kind of spread the poinsettias out like that as well. So here is the stamp set. And it's got a lot of stamps in it. I've got some already mounted on blocks, but you can see here it's 2 sheets of stamps. And so it can look at the size compared to my hand. It's a fairly big flower. So I use this one right here. But there are these other pieces that come together that make a bigger layered flower. So that's really cool. And the other nice thing about the stamp set, it does also have Christmas greetings in it. So you don't need an additional stamp set. And something that I find kind of rare sometimes, because we have so many different Merry Christmas greetings in different stamp sets. Not all of our Christmas stamp sets have the word Merry Christmas in it, but this one's a really beautiful scripty Merry Christmas, so that's really nice. I thought I'd also mention the bundle. I did not use it for this card, but this comes, if you can buy the Poinsettia Petals Stamp Set separately, or you can buy it as a bundle, and these are called the poinsettia dies, so you can buy them together as a bundle, and when you do, you save 10%. Also, you can buy the poinsettia dies separately as well, but it's really nice to have the depth of the stamping to use in conjunction with the dies. There's just a lot of different ways that this set or bundle can be used together. So I just wanted you to know that those were also options. All right, let me show you how I made this card. So I started off with a piece of Whisper white cardstock. This measures 4 inches by 5¼ inches, and shoot, I need a scrap piece of paper. I'm just going to grab that. You know what happened? Yesterday, I was making a bunch of phone calls and I used my little scrap pieces of paper to write notes on, and I never replaced my stack. Do you do that too? Like you have a thing of Post-it notes and they sit by your phone or on your desk, and then you write a note on it and you take it somewhere and then it never gets back to the phone, right? That happens to me all the time. All right, so we're using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and this is the poinsettia that's already filled out. It's not a layered flower. So we're just going to ink this up. I want to make sure that I get all of the poinsettia. And I'm going to orient it like I have it in my picture. Of course, now I can't figure out how I oriented it. Okay, so kind of like this. And I think it's about, let me see, I think it's about centered, and this top tip is coming off a little bit. That's why I want the piece of paper underneath. And sometimes for these big stamps, it's a good idea to stand up and put a little pressure on them. So there is the first poinsettia. I think I've picked up a little piece of lint. Let me make sure. Okay. All right, now I'm going to ink it up again. And so my next flower is going to be stamped right underneath here. So let's grab a petal that kind of sticks up like this, and I'm going to nest it against this petal here. And then we just need to stamp one more time. This up one more time. And this time we're going to stamp, move this over here, going to stamp over here. So I just kind of twist this until I kind of have a way for the petals to kind of nest into each other a little bit. That looks pretty good. I just want to get them somewhat close together so that it looks like a nice little pattern. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with the leaf. I think there's 2 leaves on here. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm using the smaller of these 2 leaves, poinsettia leaves. So one of them is going to tuck in. I'll tuck it in right here. Just a little bit of it. And this other one will kind of come across here. And then one more is going to come down at the bottom like this. It's going to anchor the bottom of my card. All right. It's hard to imagine right now that this card is actually going to look good, right? So let's have a look at the 2 cards so you can kind of see where I'm going with it. I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to start off using my Real Red blends. I'll start off with my light color. And I'm just going to make sure this is indeed my light. Yes. Okay, I'm just going to start brushing on the red. And I'm going to just make sure when I'm doing this that I don't, I leave the center where the little, I guess the stamen are. And I'm just going to come around and make sure I cover this entire flower with the light red blend. So, do you like to color? Some people love to color and other people don't. So if you do not like to color, then I would not recommend this card, but I have an option or an alternative for you. After I finish this first flower, I'm going to show you what that option is, because some people do not like to color. Or maybe you're making a lot of these cards and you don't want to spend the time to make many of these. So there are options that could make this a little bit faster for you. So I'm just going to come along here. There's always fast ways and slow ways to make cards. So when you're making one card, this coloring probably wouldn't bother you at all. But if you had to make 20 of these cards and you didn't like coloring, or you didn't want to spend the time, then that would be annoying. Okay, so I'm just going to cap this for a moment, and I want to show you how I brought in the detail. So I'm going to take my brush tip on my Real Red Dark, and I'm going to brush along the veins. Okay, this is just going to give a little depth. So wherever there's shading on here, you can add a little bit more of the dark. And that's what I like about these images, because they are designed by an artist. So you can just use the natural shading on the flower to create some darker highlights. So that's what I did. And then just one more. And then I'm going to come around in the center because there's quite a bit of shade happening in the center of the flower. So I'm just going to brush outwards with my dark. And these Stampin' Blends, they're alcohol markers if you're not familiar with them. And they just are a different type of marker than regular markers. And they blend things together really easily. So I'm using my Daffodil Delight Dark marker right now. And I'm just going to do these little stamen berries, whatever, inside of the flower. Okay, so that's one way to create the flower. And so if you don't like to color, I took the flower earlier today and I stamped it onto some real red cardstock. And then I ran it through my die cutting machine. There is a die that cuts this out, okay? And so that makes the flower a lot faster. And then what you can do, there's also these little guys right here. And so what I did was I did one of them, the background, in gold foil sheet, and then I did the top in black. So you can create two different types of poinsettias here. I don't know if you can see that. So it can be different, right? And this one is a little bit faster, especially if you get like an assembly line going. And then you would adhere this onto your card like that. And you can do the same thing for the leaves as well. So just a little alternative for you. And I'm going to keep coloring because there's a lot to color on here. And I know that some of you really enjoy coloring. So I'm going to do a fast job of coloring this. You can take your time when you're doing it. So let me know if you like coloring or not, or if you enjoy die cutting more. And I'll check back in after I'm finished the card, and we'll see who likes to color and who does not. Some people think coloring is very therapeutic, right? They have all those adult coloring books. Okay, I'm almost done this flower. And when I use these Stampin' Blends, I'm using the brush tip because I can cover a bigger area, but I'm using it on its side so that I don't break down the tip, okay? So I'm not using it like right top down. And then here, I'm gonna do this one, this last one over here, that's coming off the edge. So also, the other thing you could do with this is you could do them in different colors. Poinsettias come in different colors now, so you could do like one in pink, or you could leave one blank and pretend it's a white poinsettia. So that could also break up the monotony of doing just the red. I do really like red poinsettias because it's like the one time of year where you can really go wild with the red, right? So just gonna come in and shade these petals. It's good that this one's mostly off or partly off. I can go really fast with it. And some of these are going to be covered by my banner anyway, and then just kind of come around the center. Brenda's quick and easy, fast method to coloring flowers. Okay, and then I'm just going to come through, add some highlights. The good thing about using the light and dark of a Stamp Blends combo is that you really can't go too wrong, because the colors just, that's probably the easiest way to use these, is just to use the light and dark. And you can come in, and if the light source is coming down from here, you can also do a little shading and hit the bottom of these petals and just add a little bit of shade down at the bottom. You could do this also with a gray Stampin' Blend if you wanted to. All right. Okay. And then again, just the berries on this one right here, Daffodil Delight Dark. Just hitting those center ones. And now let's color the leaves. So these are, I'm going to use this again because I'm kind of going off the page. This is Mossy Meadow Light. I'm using Garden Green as my background color. We don't have a Garden Green Stampin' Blend, but Garden Green is a closer color for Christmas. Like Mossy Meadow to me sometimes is a little dark for a Christmas green. So my background card base is Garden Green. So I'm using the Mossy Meadow Light because we don't have a Garden Green. So now I can come through and I'm using the Mossy Meadow Light again, not the dark. And I'm just going to go over the veining with the light just one more time. It's going to add a little bit more color saturation, but not too much. All right. So that's a far cry from the beginning when I started out. It didn't look like much, but now it looks kind of pretty, right? So then we need to stamp these banners right here. And let me grab my pieces. So I'm using the Banners Pick a Punch. This is a new punch in our new mini catalog. And I've got a piece of gold foil sheet that measures 4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. I'm going to open this up. And there's a little slot that I can use to guide this in. Best thing to stick it all the way in first to the back. And then I'm just going to kind of indent it into that slot and then press down. And then I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so there is our first banner. And then this one measures 3 7/8 by 3 1/4. So it's a little bit shorter, 1/8 of an inch shorter. And then just slide it in there and punch it. So in the end, it's going to be just a little bit shorter so we can nest them together. So I'll take this one here and my Merry Christmas, which ends up being a very, it's a long Merry Christmas actually. Like when you look at the cover right here, it looks really small, but all of these images are shrunk a little bit to fit on the front cover. This Merry Christmas is nice and big, and I love the font. Okay, so now I'm just going to it's going to be a little bit more towards the right side than the left. And then stamp that down. And I really needed to stamp it in black because I wanted it to pop a little bit. You could also maybe do it in gold if you wanted to, or maybe do a garden green there coming across here and then emboss it in gold. But since I had to make it compete with the darkness of the flowers in the back, I really felt like I needed to come back with the black. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere both of these together because they kind of come together. So I'm just putting Tombow on the bottom part of this, and then I'm going to bring the two of these together. And kind of layering them. So the Merry Christmas is 1/8 of an inch taller or higher. Oop, I'm sliding because this is gold foil sheet. Needs a chance to dry. So it's about 1/8 of an inch higher. Okay. And then we're going to add this onto here. So you just kind of figure out where you like it. Probably somewhere so you can see the green leaf, and it covers part of the poinsettia. So then I'll put some Tombow on the back. And then I'm going to add this right here. Slide it into place. Okay. And then I have a garden green card base. This measures 11 by 4 1/4, so it's a half sheet of cardstock, and then I scored it in half at the 5.5 inch mark. And then I'm just going to add some Tombow to the back of here and center it on my card base. Okay, and then I tied a little bow earlier with I think it's called the gold, oh my gosh, I need to go look up the name of this ribbon. It's gold metallic edge ribbon. Let me get back to my thing. And then I'll take a glue dot, which has disappeared. Okay, here they are. I'm at the end of my roll. Is there one more dot on here, please? Yes, 2 more dots. Okay, so I'll grab this and stick my bow right onto a glue dot. Actually, there's only 2 more dots. Okay, and then I'll stick this right down here onto my card like that. And then I'm also going to add some gold glitter enamel dots, and I'm really close to the end of my package here. So you get more than that in a package. It's just a full sheet, but I'm getting to the end of this little piece right now. And so I'm just going to grab, come on. Sometimes they need a little, I know what I'm going to do. You need a little poke to get them to move. Come on. All right, there we go. And I'm going to stick some on here. They are wedged on there. All right, now let me pick you up. Now you're stuck to my base here. Okay, I'm going to turn this around to the spatula side. This is why they made this tool, is so that you can pick things up. I'm now going to use the spatula side and add this onto here. Maybe use this spatula for this as well. Jeez Louise, these guys are like really, okay, and now you're coming apart. Here we go, this one. There we go. And we're gonna stick this down right here, like that. Okay, those guys were really, really sticking to my sheet. All right, and there is my card. And just very traditional red and green Christmas card, but I like the way it turned out. And again, if you don't like to color, you can use a die cut instead. So you can just see how that would look as a die cut instead. So to kind of a similar sort of look. Thank you for all the hearts. That's fun to see all the hearts. Guess what? I am really bad. I can never find the button to do the little hearts thing. I'm really, really bad at that. I don't know. I find it sometimes and I'm just like, you know, sometimes you just get something and sometimes you do not get it. And I do not get how to do that. So someone tell me how to do it. Is there like a magic button? Because I am clueless when it comes to that. Thank you. I'm gonna come back over here. Someone's doing more hearts just to make me happy. Thank you. Um, Good morning to everyone. I've got people from New Jersey, from North Carolina, from Denmark, from Missouri. I just love that. So Dee says she loves to color as well, and it can be very therapeutic and relaxing. I agree, it can be, if you're not in a rush or stressed out. So it really depends what kind of cards you want to make. Sometimes you want to do something quick, and sometimes you want to sit there and color. Janine says she's okay with coloring. Remember when we used to color as kids and outline everything with a black crayon? I don't remember that. I must have missed that that lesson. I don't know. Maybe it was a Midwest thing. I don't know. Did anyone else outline things with a black crayon? Maybe because we were so used to like coloring in coloring books and they have those black outlines. And that's kind of, if you look at the card, I mean, that's kind of what this is. It's kind of like a coloring book, except you stamp your own images, you make your own coloring card, right? But it, you know, it's fun. I love how the poinsettias turned out with the blends. You know, you can kind of see the lighter and the darker in there. It's kind of fun. Okay, I'm keeping on going. Someone else from Missouri and Indiana. Very cool. Connie says she got her poinsettias yesterday. Now, so this is a really, my card was a really basic way to use that stamp set because I didn't do any layering, I didn't do the die cutting or whatever. But for the card, remember like our original card, you know, I try and follow, you don't have to do this, but I kind of like to, you know, follow the original card. So if I have that card right there, right, and then I hide it again, so you can kind of see how my card falls along that same line, like with the poinsettias instead of the tree. So I kind of created the feel of the card. And so if you're over on our Facebook group, so we do have that Facebook group. The link is down below. Just look in the description. You might need to click on see more. And down below, there's a link to our Facebook group. And each week, the new card is posted, and then you can post your card underneath it if you want to. Or you can just look at what other people are doing and maybe use that to build your own design. You don't have to post it, but it's there. You can see like every week there's like so many different variations of that original card. And then the nice thing, if you have time, go over and comment on those cards. Even if you're not posting a card, you're welcome to comment on people's cards and give them a little love and support. Because the thing is, everyone starts out somewhere. You know, when I started stamping, it's been I've been a demonstrator almost 15 years, and then I stamped probably about 3 years before that. So I've been stamping for a long time, and I remember some of my first cards and how I was learning to do things. And we'll have, you know, a whole range of different different stamping levels. And so it's really nice when you get some encouragement at the beginning. And this is a nice way to do it because you have a starting point and you have a community of people that will look at your card and you know, give you some love when you post it. It's a really good stepping stone for later on. Okay, I'm keeping on reading your comments. We have someone from Arizona. Um, okay. Well, it's going to be a busy week. I have a new Hershey's tutorial coming out this week. I'm not going to tell you what it is though, because you'll have to wait and see what it is. I also have a new 3D tutorial coming out on Friday, which will have a project sheet. And that project sheet is free for everyone. And my Hershey's tutorial, you can get free with an order. So that will be coming out later this week. And if you're on my team, all my team members get my tutorials for free. So that's a nice little perk of being on my team. And I love my team, and I have some team members on here this morning. They are wonderful. We have our own Facebook group where we hang out and share things. And today, well, no, it's not today. Tomorrow we have our deadline for our swap. We started swapping this summer. We do an online swap, not just online. It's we organize it online and then we send each other the cards. But we started doing swaps this summer, and I'm really excited about the next one coming up because it's from the mini catalog. So I just love our team. And if you want to join the Bee Stampers team, there is a starter kit promotion this month. And let me just bring in some things just to show you real quick. The starter kit is $99. And let me just show you some things. The starter kit is $99 and you get to pick $125 worth of your choice of products. So whatever you want, $125 you choose. You only pay $99. The kit ships for free. In September, you're going to get some bonuses. You're going to get the So Much Love stamp set. You're going to get the Queen Anne's Lace stamp set. You're going to get a package of rhinestone jewels. And then you're going to get card kits. And they're going to make these 4 beautiful cards. Let me spread them out. And you get to make 4 of each. So there's going to be 16 cards in total. So you'll use the stamp sets to make these cards. And so that's a nice little perk of getting the starter kit this September. If you are interested in the starter kit, look below in the description of the video. And there is a link to the starter kit page, and it will give you more information about being on my team. All right, guys, I hope you join me for my Facebook Live on Friday. I do that one on YouTube Live. I do this one here on Facebook Live, but the Friday one I do it on YouTube at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you pop over to my channel, you can subscribe, and if you click on the bell, you'll get notifications of when I'm going live. But you could also just set yourself a reminder to go check over on my YouTube channel at 10 a.m. on Friday. And that's when I do another live. And that one's a 3D usually, or a fancy fold card. I kind of alternate depending on what I am interested on any given week. All right. I hope you guys have a great week. The sun is shining here. I know some of you guys have smoky skies, and I'm sorry that you have smoky skies because that really sucks. My family lives out on the western side of North America. They live in British Columbia, and they are being smoked out right now. I talked to my mom yesterday and she said, like, I can't walk outside. She said even the hallway in our apartment building is smoky. Can you imagine? That's crazy, right? So, wherever you are, I hope that you're staying safe and I hope you have a great week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.